the way we look at the market, short term, we're getting a divergence. On a daily chart, XRP is showing us a divergence. That's a negative divergence with last couple of days with negative volume. On a monthly, we are observing that the RSI is breaking to the upside. We are gathering momentum. We are about to get a monthly close in just 24 hours. This is going to be exciting because we also will get a weekly close for XRP, and that will give us more clarity. Right now, when you observe the market, you can see the volume. Last week, you had great volume compared to the week before that, and the price respected the amount of volume. Right now, it is still happening. So even if you close the candle here, you are literally observing that week by week, bullishness is increasing. It's not just 1 week, there is a pump and there is no volume. It is constantly increasing. That looks great. Because when you go on the monthly on the Bitcoin side of things, you actually see that the volume is slowly starting to increase. So some people are starting to recognize the fact that this is happening. And then you come on to a 3-day chart. This is Bitcoin on a 3-day chart, and it shows you like even if you are going to drop towards 27,300, you still maintain this price action pattern. That is actually bullish because the pattern here mostly breaks to the upside. So we will have to follow that and see how things are evolving. Because if you actually take the price action, the pattern, it kind of shows you something, right? Here we have a bull flag. We don't know whether it's going to break to the upside or downside, but we slowly look back to the history, the recent past, to understand what happens. When the trend is this direction, it moves up. When the trend is to the downside, it moves to the downside. But there are points of time where we think, okay, that's breaking against the trend. So that can play into the market. But at the same time, recognize this. Altcoin market is inside a pattern and is flirting with the level of resistance. Now, that is pretty important because this is happening right now in the Bitcoin dominance. We told you we are going to go up to 47, 48, and we reached that level. We are now trying to slow down. It's not like a major drop in Bitcoin price. It would be a correction. And during that time, we will see altcoins taking off. Right now in the market, we have a lot of concerns. If you are looking at the banking stocks, you'll go crazy because you are literally observing the economy on the other side is having great impacts. If you notice these are like, okay, things are really heating up. Some things are happening. And right now with this, I'm like, okay, there is a lot in the macro structure to understand because it all boils down to one thing: your assets, your portfolio, your money. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys get to learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. Right now, while we look at the price of Bitcoin on a daily chart, we just got a daily close, and this right now is important. Now, the day has just started, so you still have 24 hours ahead of us to see how this evolves. But let's try to see what is happening. You got a green volume which respected the price action, meaning the market pushed higher. So with that amount of volume, the market pushed higher. What happened after that? You just got a red volume, which was even longer than a bit, but still higher than this. But the price action didn't actually work that way. It didn't come back down and close. So you got a lot of sellers, but they were not able to push the price lower. Buyers were in. And right now, we are observing that we are getting a little bit of buying volume. Now the day is just starting, so we'll have to notice how this is going to evolve. And on the short run, what we are literally looking at is, last 4 hours, buyers did try to push the price up, and that didn't work out quite well, right? But right now, what we observe is we have way lower volume than that, but the price is starting to move higher than the previous candle. So that for me is like, okay, that looks optimistic because we are bouncing off from the moving average. which usually is bullish. Because the pattern which we are observing is like, okay, we went up, we are coming back down. The level of consolidation here is like this is the range. But we also have the understanding that we broke to the upside. We are slowly testing that range. Now, if we break this back to the upside, now things are looking positive. That will change. On a photo, while we get this doji, now we are like, okay, let me actually zoom in to see what the hell is happening. And then you can say like, okay, we broke the moving average. We may actually test the moving average and get rejected another leg to the downside. So we may come back to the support. So that's the short-term view. But if you break this moving average and go back up, things change, right? So that's where the short-term narrative confusion, everything exists in the market. Understand, while we talk about this, last week, there was a lot of sellers, but they were not able to push the price lower. So you have enough buyers in the market. Now, while we look at all of this, I would also like to show you guys something which I thought it's really interesting because it literally comes from Brad Garlinghouse, highlighting the fact that the market is not actually respecting what it should be, which is the legislation, right? So the chair of the SEC to assert that he dictates what is a security and not the legislation from which his agency derives power. So we just talked about this in a video yesterday, talking like Congress was saying, you can't do this without getting an approval from us. And that is just what he is doing in the market right now. And read this. Without clear jurisdiction, ambiguity, he is killing the market. Read that again, because that really is important. Now, if the crypto market is slowly trying to push higher and it is going higher, what will happen? The banking sector gets hit hard. And that is why I started with showing you guys the banking stock. So here we are looking at the Deutsche Bank, and it actually shows like, now some people pronounce, in a different way. I think it's Duce. So while looking at this, the price is getting rejected. That is on a weekly. You go on a monthly chart and you see like, okay, we are making consistent lower highs and we are also getting rejected from a macro level of resistance. So if the trend is your friend, I'm like, wow, that's not looking good, because say this is one of the biggest banks in the world, and if that's about to drop further. Now, why I use the term further is because if you're here in the market and you're looking at this, this is a bank we are talking about, which dropped 96%. That's not a cryptocurrency, that's a bank. And you only had this massive capitulation here back in the financial crisis. After that, you never got that. So I'm like, okay, something is not looking good. If we are going down, I think the economy is at a point where people would start selling again. So on one side, you notice the fact that banking stocks are going down, that's trending down from last 10 years. And on the other side, you see something different. That is interesting, right? You are trending to the upside from way longer. It's like 20 years history, you're moving up. So you have opportunity in the market. You are looking for things evolving. We've talked about different aspects in different assets. And I'm happy that it is playing out as we discussed in the group. Now, why does this matter? Because you have a short-term pattern testing a medium-term resistance. Now, the measured move for the short-term pattern itself is 25%. Then the medium term is 33%. So if you're breaking through that, that's like a surprise move in the market. These are like the big stocks, right? So you go back and look at the dollar. What's it doing? It's getting hammered. It's going down, down, down. You literally look at the Dow Jones and you're seeing like, okay, there is something happening. We are bouncing. But then if you actually go to the 100 companies, NDQ, you actually get to see like, okay, we made this pattern. We had a rounded reversal, which looks like a continuation pattern here. You're breaking that to the upside, which looks bullish. I mean, you look at the pattern which the price action is forming and you get the taste like, okay, we are looking for a 30% rally in the market. And take that, measure that. It is literally testing the all-time high. So what do you think when the price is reaching the all-time highs in one segment, where on the other end you have massive drops, and it may even go to defaults for sure, because when you're here in the market and you're looking at things, you have to keep your mind on this. This literally is happening. The CDS, the credit default swaps, are actually going higher, and the concerns which the economy has in the market is pushing it much lower. Now, coming back to the crypto, the price action. There's XRP on a daily, right? So we get the RSI showing us that we may actually correct back down. What are we looking at? Are we looking at all the way back to 0.2, 0.1? No, at least for me, I'm not looking at that. Rather, I would say okay, the first level should be 0.48, and if that doesn't hold and we have more volume selling and pushing the price lower, then let's look for the moving average. Now, I'm not saying 0.43 because right now the price is 0.53. As the price drops, the moving average comes back up because the price is above the moving average. So if we are slowly coming back down here, that should meet somewhere close to 0.47, 0.48, that range. Now, remember, that is on a daily where you are getting this divergence. When you step back, go look at the macro, it is literally showing you just erase this level. And if we close this monthly candle, believe me, that's just 24 hours from now. If you manage to close this monthly candle above 0.47, I'm not listening to anyone in the market. I'm like, okay, that just erased all of these movements. So that is crystal clear. It is bullish, yeah? How can you even deny the fact that the monthly chart is showing you that? It's not an hourly chart. It's showing you literally the volatility we got from the Terra Luna crisis. You are erasing that. Believe it or not, it is happening right now in the market. So this is XRP, which people say, okay, it doesn't move. And this is what's happening in the market. Look at the volume here on a monthly. You got similar volume here, a little bit higher. Yeah, I agreed. But we are pushing way higher than that. Look at the way the market is responding in terms of price to that volume. It's relatively lower volume, which you are observing there. Whereas here you have massive volume pushing it through the skies. So what do you think is going to happen once you close above this level and consolidate there? Now, what does a consolidation mean? You can literally go on a short-term structure. And while you do this consolidation here and bounce up, when you start to bounce, you are going to see people jumping on this wagon. The FOMO will come back here. Now, yes, that's again a macro weekly structure. So you literally have to go to a short-term chart to see what we are doing right now. What's the expectation? So yeah, we may drop till this point. But is that bad? We did this correction recently, 15% drop, and that does not look really bad to me. I mean, my eyes, if you're in the market and you want to buy this asset more, that's an opportunity, right? The price drops and you expect that to run higher. It's literally like the Peter Lynch quote, right? If you are here looking at a lot of different assets, which I think you would be looking at right now, I would say look at the altcoins, because the altcoin market is showing you that it can run up because the Bitcoin dominance is about to drop. Now, it actually makes sense, right? You see another breakout call here for the XLM. It's running higher. You see things like this happening in the market. You see things like this about to start. So you're like, okay, something is happening in the market where the volume is shifting. That's why I always highlight, look for how the market is reacting. If it was 10 million and right now it's 100 million, there is something. Someone is buying into that, believing this asset is about to pop, right? And when it happens, you don't deny the fact, because sometimes it's going to be really slow. I mean, look at this, ELF. Last 7 days, it was not doing much. And right now, it starts to pop higher. So the level of patience you needed here when I was saying, okay, this is trying to break higher, go towards testing the resistance. Right now, you're already halfway through. Now, what was the indicator there? You already got the volume and the price action suggesting we are up for a run. We got the RSI validating the fact that, okay, we are breaking to the upside. So inside this market, you do have all of these as opportunities, and we try to go through all of them, give you guys the right output. So you know that you know the target, you know what the market is doing, at least you know where your target is. Because from that point, you can take profits. And if you're not taking profits, the market can go against you. And if you're looking for something like that, look for the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. Now, jumping back, don't go chasing green candles. The market is going to give you opportunities. Always look for opportunities, not chasing green candles. That may not end properly, because we all know market shows us something and we know most likely that's going to happen. But at the end of the day, market is manipulated. You may need way more patience than you anticipate to stay relevant in the market. And it is so important to stay alive in the market rather than trying to make huge short levered trades. The market may do a lot of wonders. Something can go against you. And when that situation comes, you need to know, okay, how bad things can go. That's where we are looking at this right now, saying, okay, this is a possibility. Bitcoin dominance, if it actually breaks that range, we are going to come to 52-53%. That means alts are not moving much. Few of them will run based on the narrative in the market, and that's what we are observing for XRP right now. We were close like 400-500 million in volume. We went up to like 3.2. Right now we had 1.6 billion. So we still have that amount of volume in the market, because people do understand this, right? You went up 20% for the week when Bitcoin is down for the week. So there is something happening with this particular asset, and the market is trying to realize the fact that this is an opportunity. But we are already in the market. We are already in that asset. We already know that this asset shows you enormous amount of opportunity. Now, why am I highlighting that? Because if you are here looking at XRP against the altcoin side of this, I would personally actually use this, right? We had this thought process. Now it's working out, and I'm like, okay, fine. What we have to understand here is that we may drop like this. It's still fine, but zoom out. Look for the macro view. Now that is beautiful, isn't that? I mean, not a lot of people would actually recognize the fact that we are way lower at the bottom, because you buy at the bottom and sell at the top. Now, we don't know where the top is going to be, but for one fact, we know this, that the price is not through the roof, it's at the bottom. So if you are looking to buy low, well, I mean, this is pretty low, and it is right now trying to break through level of resistance which we had historically. So if you are breaking through that, there is something happening in the market. Something is changing in the market. And imagine, we got hammered for a reason. What was that? The SEC case. Otherwise, if that was not there, we were trending higher. That is not a bad news. So if that is moved out of the market, we may come back to this. Okay, put that in terms of price. We really want to do a 20x from here, and we are still just starting the trend. That is what SEC has done to this asset. So once you get the clarity, it's not going to be a small run up. It's going to be a gigantic run up. That's where the wealth is created. But believe me, the level of patience you need to go through to be in this asset to reach those targets, it's not going to be easy. You'll see a lot of people pulling out way before the market actually really hits the real level of FOMO. You will see a lot of people taking profits way earlier. When the trade goes for you, that's when you should have ultimate patience. And we will stay here, try to be with you guys, educate you guys as much as possible when this is finally materializing. So guys, if you received value for your time, please do hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done that already. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.